Good night, Morna Dodd. And how are you?
Good evening, Mandingo. I'm fine, thank you.
I can see that you're fine. You're looking fine as usual. A fashion queen, as I have said, because you got that fashion sense from your mother and also your grandmother. So tonight, you've charted another course in the history of your family, continuing the work laid down by your grandmother and your father, Sir Clement Dodd. What made you want to put on this event tonight in honor of your father, your brother, and your son, Aaron?
Well, actually, I wanted to do a remembrance when my father died, but there was things that was in the way. And then when my son passed away, and then my brother passed away, I thought it was urgent for me to now move forward in keeping the name alive. And it's very important for us to remember also the other people from the music world that's passed on, and to keep the legacy going.
Now, I know that you have a lot of plans for the future, and I don't expect you to tell the public everything that you will do in the future. But what things do you think you would like to let us, the public, know about future plans?
Well, my future plan is to release an LP called Renaissance of the Rebirth of the New Studio One UK. And also, my next step is to have a bar restaurant named after my father. It will be called Coxsone Bar and Restaurant, and it will carry all the pictures and the story of the great people of reggae music.
Because as your father was the man who was first produced ska music and also first produced reggae music, and of course rocksteady music is simply a slower form of ska. So your father was the university of Jamaican music. Almost all the great reggae musicians and artists came from Studio One. We're talking, for example, people like Ernest Ranglin, the Scatterlights with Don Drummond, Tommy McCook, Rolando Alfonso, Alton Ellis, Ken Booth, John Holt, the Heptones, the Paragons. So many artists came out of Studio One. Jackie Mittoo, who invented the reggae rhythm, for example, Studio One. So what you will actually be having here is a living museum then of these artists also and musicians?
That's correct. You know, we'll tell the story and the life that they played in the reggae music, in the reggae story.
In fact, not just reggae, but Jamaican music.
Jamaican popular music, yes. Jamaican popular music, yeah.
Now, your brother, Junior, I know Junior and you were very close, and Junior was a very good friend of mine. And your son, Aaron, who passed. How did you manage to hold it together? Because I know you were hurting, because both of them passed within a relatively short period of time. And now look what you're doing. Putting on an event like this takes planning, takes, you know, that dedication to do that. Where did you get that strength to do what you're doing?
Well, Mandingo, my son died, and you know that pain will never go. But I have to be strong, because I have the rest of my family to be strong for and keep the legacy going. Then when my brother fell ill and he passed, I felt it was even more so a part of me, because we were a part of this together. And I have to take the baton up and run with it. And my son also, we're in the music, he was a rapper, and he also was going to come home and to do the One Love and the Simmer Down, but we wanted a twist where it would be the ska mixed with the British hip hop or the British sort of flavour, you know, and
like the vibes from here.
That's correct, yeah, and I have to be strong, because if I let it go, the old legacy falls, and I feel compelled to do it. It's just like something raging in me that it has to be done.
So you have that sense of purpose that the Studio One heritage must never die, and that it must continue, and of course you will be telling and involving your children in the work so that they can continue the tradition from generation to generation?
That's correct. It's involving my children, grandchildren, and also I have another brother, his name is Morna Dodd, who's also a part of it, and I would like to involve the rest of the siblings because it's very important, because unity is the key, that we form an alliance and move forward. I do think reggae is one of the most uplifting music that's on this earth, and it's a longevity music that keeps going, and my dreams are to bring it up to this, like to create Beyoncé's of the reggae music now, and it makes basically the excellence of reggae music, because that's what my father was all about. It was a class music that it brought joy, it brought love, it was a lesson to many of us that created a knowledge for life.
You know, what I'm pleased about, because your father was an elder and a mentor for me and my very good friend. Both of us are the only children for our mothers. And when he realized that I was an only child just like him, our bond became closer because the relationships with our mothers was absolutely totally strong. What I definitely know is that he always wanted his children to be involved in his business. That, for example, he wanted his children in England, for example, in Britain, to be the Studio One, the face, the representative of Studio One in Britain and Europe, in this side of the world.
Well, yes he did, because I used to speak to him about, you know, you had a lot of people say a lot of negative things, and he always says, but they always came back, and if these negative things existed, would they come back? And he always felt that we, his first children, that we were his rightful children. That's what he said. Not being negative to the rest of the siblings, but he did love my mum, and my mum loved him. And I spoke to him many times where he felt that he wanted us to take the baton up and take it to the next level, and I can see the level that this can go and create a new foundation of the reggae music.
Yes, I'm sure that wherever he is, because you know there's no such thing as death, because it's merely a transfer to another dimension. And I'm sure that your father and Junior, your brother, as well as your son Aaron, are here observing and are pleased that you're carrying, you have taken up the baton. It's a relay, and that you're continuing with the music. And you said something very important. A lot of people who criticize Sir Coxsone as artists and musicians, a lot of them, they always went back to him. But you know, he would just laugh because he would hear things that they said about him, and then they would come to him and then say Sir D. And let me say, for the record, artists like Ken Booth, R.A. Sandy, Prince Jasbo, and many others have testified as to the good that your father did for them. Without him, they would not have had a musical career that they have been living off for years. And what I can really say is that the proof of his good work lies in the eternal music that he has created. Because when you listen to Studio One music, even though it was made in the 60s, some of it was made before in the 50s when he just had his sound system, because he was producing from about 1956 with Muriel, Alton Ellis and Eddie Parkin, Lascelles Perkins and others. But when he started Studio One at 13 Brentford Road, which is now called Studio One Boulevard, and the man who set it up was the genius inventor Headley Jones. He took things to another level. Your father, Sir Dodd, was the first black man born in Jamaica to have his own recording studio. The first born in Jamaica to have his own recording studio. Duke Reid, who was older than him, followed his example of having his own studio. So your father was a real pace setter in many ways. Do you have any? Tonight has been very lovely. The food has been lovely, excellent, and the crowd and the vibes here has really been nice. Do you have any final words for us for tonight?
Well, as as you say, the music is like a Rembrandt. It's timeless. It doesn't have an age. It just sounds current. Each day you put it on, you wouldn't believe the music was made 50 something years ago. I always say each piece is a Rembrandt. It's a collector's piece. And I love my dad, I love him dearly. I love my father, I love my mother, I love my brother. And I so miss my son. It's like a part of me is gone. But I have to be strong for my family and strong for my own people to know that when there's a loss, you can turn it around to make it for the positive. And it's basically gives strength to others to say there is always another side of this.
Earlier tonight, you had an artist who performed 2 songs, Marika, and she sang very well. And I know you have aspirations to be a producer in your own right. Could you tell us something about that?
Well, what I see, a lot of people are gravitating to the soul music. And I'm saying to them, the reggae music is more longevity, And she has a beautiful talent, she's got a beautiful voice. And what my idea is to turn her into a Jamaican Beyonce, a British reggae Beyonce. And it's just to make more elegancy in the way they perform. And the production of work, I just want to add a little bit because there's not much I can do to my father's work, but just to add the sparkle to it.
Well, actually, for her to be a star in her own right, really, because every individual is unique. You also have some other artists that you intend to produce or you're involved with. Could you tell us some more about that?
Well, I've got Donna. He's very good. He's came to me. He's very excited to be working with the members of Studio One. And I have another artist.
Could you tell us a bit more about that artist, Donna?
Donna, he used to be in the garage music and he's now recording on the Studio One beats. We have an LP coming out with Donna, and also we have an album coming out with various artists. And we have China Nicole. She's also a new Studio One artist. She's got her own album, which is also coming onto Studio One. And the other one we got Sparky, Layla Rose, lots more. Some really. But I want to put my touch to it. I have an idea and a dream to be doing it in a certain way that I feel will put a different direction.
So in other words, you want to stamp your own signature?
I want to put my own stamp on it. That's correct. I have a dream and to take it from where my father left it and my brother and turn it all around.
As a female doing producing, how have you found it?
Wow, that's a good question. You can come across some very, very difficult musicians. Their mind is set one way, and I can see where my dad got into problems, and then what they will then do is go and tell lies, and or what they believe to themselves is true, but it's not true. So I have experienced quite some difficult people, but I am a very, like my dad, no nonsense. It's what I see and it's how I see it, and if you're not on the same page, it's about being on the same mind, on the same page, having the same mind and ambition. But you find some people are very, very difficult, very.
Your brother, who is also being honored tonight, Junior Dodd, he was also doing his own production and that type of thing. Could you elaborate a bit on some of the things that you shared with Junior musically and otherwise?
Well, we were on the same page, and we wanted to take the music to the next level. Junior recorded his own music, where I'm going to put a tribute LP out in remembrance of him, because his music again was unique, and it's to basically, I know what he wanted, and he was similar to my dad, that believed in an elegancy in the music that is not, it's sexy but it's not vulgar. The music is joyful and not knocking anyone in any way that people are going to feel intimidated or anyway, because you know some of the reggae artists can be knocking people's way of life, where we're trying to keep away from that and keep it very much spiritual and uplifting, and also the love songs will be very romantic and sexual but not degrading to women.
Talking about women, your mother was a lover of music and she was a fine dancer, and in the early days when your father used to keep dances with the sound system, she was the one who dealt with the cooking and the bar and that type of stuff. You came here as a young child with your brother Junior and so on. How did you manage in Birmingham, coming from Jamaica, coming to Birmingham in England, in Britain, to maintain that musical connection?
Well, I think in every most Caribbean, we keep our music, we embrace the music. My mother was a lover of music, and she always would play music in the house, and she'd always reminisce about my father, or when Roy, or she'll call him Downbeat, or Coxsone, it depends what mood she was in. But when she reminisced when we were when she was dancing with him, she'd call him Roy, so that's the when she's the love name.
She would call him
Roy. You know, she was in love with him, but she said I was a jealous woman, and she couldn't cope. So she said I had to leave, and he was upset that she left, and he made her a promise that he wouldn't marry unless she married, and when she got married, he married. But you know, she never knocked him. She always said your father was a great man, a fine man, and I know he was like a strict person, and because she felt to take us, he was a tick for tact, and he said he didn't give us up easily. He did fight for us, and I know he loved us, and I know he loved Junior, but there was people that played obstacles with him and my brother, and Junior loved him very much too, and he wanted to show him that, and I think this is what Junior wanted to do, was to show the world that he was a part of his dad, and he, as a part of his, what's the word I'm looking for?
a part of his legacy.
Not his legacy. You know, when you wear his blood,
yes,
and you
yes.
take his genes.
Yes.
And Junior wanted to show his father that he has some of his genes, you know, in the musical ability.
Wanted to show that he had inherited.
He inherited some of his qualities. Wishing I do feel that I have inherited quite a bit, because my mother used to get when she was upset, she used to say,
"You're just like your dad.
You're just like your
poopa." You said.
She said, "You're just like your poopa." And I used to get upset.
So she couldn't get away from
That's right.
Downbeat.
That's right, and I was upset because I couldn't understand what she meant as a child, and I used to take it very personal until I have children of my own, and when I see my children, I see the character of the dad, and I think that's what she saw. I think that's what she saw. But I love my dad, and I knew his dream, and I know he didn't want his catalogue to be
to be sold out, to be prostituted.
That's right, and for the mess that it's in. But I'm hoping, you know, that he is here with me and Junior and my nan and my mom, that we can bring forward what he wanted. I cannot give you exactly what my dad wanted, but I know within me I have that talent to bring something forward.
So in other words, to safeguard his legacy and see that what he worked for was not sold out. Because your father was a man, was offered fantastic sums to sell out his music, but he would always say that his music was priceless, it was not for sale.
Well, it wasn't about the money, he said. It's not about the money, it's about preservation. And that's what I am saying again. It's not about the money, it's just to see the reggae music grow even bigger, and where there is a block on the reggae music, and in my consciousness I know the block is there because it cannot be taken from us. We own it, and let's carry on owning this music. And I feel that's why it's not played on the circular radio, because there was a time when reggae dominated the charts, and I know now we can dominate it even more, but it's for us to stick together and make this happen.
Definitely, because some of the music that he produced, like Pass the Dutchie, is coming from an original Studio One full-up rhythm. And in the 1960s, the Guns of Navarone, his production, was high in the British charts, and many of his rhythms. So he really proved his worth to the world.
Yeah, it is a unique sound. It is really a unique sound. You know, I love the Jamaican beat because it's got that heavy bass line. I mean, I think Chris Blackwell said he changed it to put the guitars on it and it was a lighter. But why did he like it in the first place? Didn't he like it because of the heaviness of the bass? And when a man tells you, oh, I put the guitars, it's just to make it his own, to say, well, I've done this to it. But I love...
But that's not true. When Chris Blackwell says that he put any guitar to it, that would not be true, because guitar was always in the music. And in fact, Ernest Ranglin, the genius guitarist, was playing for your father as part of Clue J and the Blues Blasters from the 1950s. So Chris Blackwell owes Sir Coxsone and you read on others.
Because to my knowledge, there is still a lot of money owed to the Studio One, and that money is also to be paid to the artists as well. As I say, the music is to be cherished and nourished so the artists can continue to be paid and make a new music and being paid from the music. And my ambition is to keep where everybody felt that they weren't being paid. This is where I want to go in now and make sure the money and everyone gets what is rightfully theirs. And also, I would also like to set up a foundation where some of the money is put aside for the relatives or people who have passed on and their relatives, so it can, you know, enrich other people's lives.
I see you have a lot of ideas for the future, and you know, you have definitely inherited not just the music in terms of the love of the music, but you have also inherited that business sense that he and his mother had.
Well, yes, but yes, because not realizing what my nan had achieved. When I learned a lot about her, I realized the same things that I have achieved is the same thing that she did. So it's like, it is definitely my genes. But what I would love to do, you know, the slackness in the dancehall, we need to turn the dancehall around. And this is what the excellence of reggae music is about, showing the younger people that there is another side to the dancehall.
Yes.
Yeah. You know.
Because he made music for people dance. He's the original dancehall man.
That's right. The king of dancehall.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this is what we want to continue. And I know Chronix is on a similar path, you know. to use a revive, but I call it the excellence of the music, and also to create a different fashion sense and image, and the full works to show people you're going out, and why would you want a skin on your head or
Act in a depraved way.
That's right. It's basically throwing yourself on the floor. The men are not respecting the women, and they're not respecting themselves. And I think that is where we need to turn the music, let the music turn it back to the elegancy, so women are more respected and men are more respectful of themselves.
Well, Morna, it has really been good speaking with you, and I'm sure that we will be speaking again in the future. And anything else you want to say, it's your prerogative. Anything else you want to say?
Well, as I say, it's been great knowing you, Mandingo, and you've been a great guidance and teacher to me as well. And I've got a nice Derek and Lou Gooden and a lot of people that's helping me to understand the whole running of the music. Yeah, I'm a no-nonsense person too, and I know what I want. And when something is set in my head, and I feel, I go to you, I ring Mandingo, I says, Mandingo, and ask you that question, because I know I'm going to get the right questions or answers to what's bothering me.
Thank you very much, Morna Dodd, and keep on keeping on the excellence of Sir Clement Seymour Dodd and Studio One, Sir Coxsone Dodd. Thank you.
Every now and then without warning, I can be really mean toward you. I'm a puzzle, yes indeed. Ever complex in every way. And all the pieces aren't even in the box. And yet, you see the picture clear as day. I don't know how you love me, and that's why I love you. Catch me when I fall, set me from the door, and that's why I love you. And that's why I love you. And that's why I love. I neglect you when I'm working. When I need attention, I turn to neglect. I'm a host of imperfection. You see past all that. I'm a peasant by some standard, but in your eyes I'm a queen. You see potential in all my flaws, and that's exactly what I mean. I don't know why you love me, and that's why I love you. Catch me when I fall, set me frozen low, and that's why I love you. And that's why I love
it up for Marika! Yes, indeed, Marika. Right here from Birmingham. And she's doing it well. Excellent.